Hi there, folks. Simmon here with another Intermediate Invitational Tournament match. This time a tiebreaker match between nqeron and nitzel. nqeron is the puzzle master, the one who runs the didactic blog and posts those puzzles every weekday on his blog and onto our subreddit page. And then I take those puzzles, transfer them to a physical board, and take pictures of those and put them on Instagram. Nitzel has done a couple things. He has done a lot of games with Pluto the Brave doing commentary for some of these tournament games that are going on, and including some of the recent Ryder Cup games, the Europe versus USA games. And he did also, I believe, some beginner games. Anyway, this is a tiebreaker match. What happened is 3 people tied for the 4th playoff spot in this tournament. So, what they've decided to do is do a round robin between these 3 people, and each person, or each matchup, I guess, is going to be 1 game. It's going to be 10 minutes with a 5-second increment, and it's, again, 1 game with plus 3 komi to black, meaning 3 extra flat count gets added to black's score at the end of the game if it does go to flats. So, some people say that's a slight advantage for black. Some people don't think so. We'll see. But this is round robin, and this is the first tiebreaker game. So they're going to be playing, they get to choose who takes black and who takes white. If they do not agree on both of that, they both wanted white in this case. So they just put up a random seek, and it will basically do a coin flip to decide who gets what color, and that's where we are right now. So nitzel and nqeron playing together in this match. nqeron in white, nitzel in black. And we are ready to go with this first and only game of this tiebreaker match. Here we are with this tiebreaker game of nitzel and nqeron. They have started off really quickly here, going for that mirrored opening. Playing up here into the center, trying to get that center control. This is a shorter time control as discussed. And neither player wanted black despite the 3 komi, so they did for a random. I do feel like black does get a slight advantage here with that komi. I think that they are ahead in that case. So, but we'll see how this plays out. nqeron, the puzzle master, nitzel, a co-commentator with Pluto the Brave on a few other matches. Capstone does drop here, and that's a pretty solid spot. Yeah, I like that capstone positioning. It follows along a lot of those standard guidelines from the Tak University capstones video, which you can watch, and it's got some solid advice, I think. But here we have black coming over with this capstone, kind of cutting white away from that north-south threat. But white's going to have to do something here in order to respond to that. Maybe make that connection, that anchor point over there at D1. And this anchor point over here at D1 might do something for white where he could go for that vertical threat. Also, it does make a connection over here, an opportunity for a connection at E1 to start going for that horizontal. So I feel like there's a lot that white can do here. Unfortunately, a lot of those things that white wants to be able to do here can be blocked by this capstone coming over left onto D3. So potentially moving that capstone here onto d3 prematurely would have been a pretty solid move. I don't know that I like that much. I think I would have preferred a placement here from white, as he does have that flat count disadvantage already. And black does have a few more opportunities here to play some walls because of that flat count disadvantage from the komi. So black gonna make some placements here, either going for that vertical threat himself or ready to cut this threat off, make a capture war here that he would ultimately lose, but white would also lose a lot of that positioning. Be interesting to see how this works out here. Let's take a look at the rating of these two players. Oh, we do see that capstone come up, ready to cut off that capstone. So he did go for that move. And these two players, it looks like they are... Nitzel has a much higher rating than nqeron, which is surprising to me. 1776 rating to 1672. So they're about 100 rating points away, but this is the tiebreaker for that Intermediate Invitational playoff spot, that final one. Black going for that horizontal threat now, maybe building around white, trying to keep white from going for anything. Here, white decides to build off to the side to cut that off. I would not be surprised to see black start going for this vertical threat now, maybe playing here at e1 or deciding to play up at e5 or f5. Any of those work pretty well. f4 also. I feel like white's in a solid position, black's in a solid position. They both have a lot of options right now. So I don't know who I would give the advantage to at this moment. It's just too early on, and there's too many moves that each of them can make and too many paths that this game can go down. It looks like nqeron did disconnect, but because we do have that new tournament mode, he does have a lot longer to reconnect, and he did reconnect here. So black did decide to play down here at e1, making for that vertical threat connection. White dropping a wall early, ready to cut that threat off. Interesting to me. What I feel like would have been interesting would be a black flat here at f5 instead. Now, the reason why I would say a black flat at f5 is because a black flat at f5 could get that wall to come up, but I think the wall was already premeditated to go here onto e4. And so black flat at f5, this comes over, black can just place another flat here at f4, make that vertical threat yet again, unless white drops another wall here at e5. So a lot of options here. nqeron is disconnected yet again, this time on his own turn, but he does come back pretty quickly. Could just be a page refresh or something like that. Black is building off to the side here, though, for that horizontal threat, also for that vertical threat. Able to capture over, make that threat, also cut off white's opportunity to keep going for that vertical. If there is a capture war here on d4, white is going to win that with that capstone and have a pretty strong stack after the fact. White now placing at b4, trying to get rid of black's influence in this area and maybe start working on their own. Black now going over here, ready to cut off any sort of threat and go for that horizontal themselves. Black has a couple of options here to place that final stone, so he's kind of hoping to make this threat first, I believe, and then force white's hand to capture. Forcing capture, often a very strong move. I'm a big fan, at least. All right, it looks like white making that capture, keeping black from making that threat. Now, this is where I think a b1 placement for black isn't a bad idea at all, because that b1 placement would also threaten to come up and cut off that vertical threat that white is building towards right now. I don't know what else black would want to do here besides maybe continuing this vertical threat themselves. Oh, deciding to drop a wall. Using that komi to their advantage. Let's see, the flat count right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus 3 is 11. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to white. So yes, definite flat count advantage for black. Despite white having this hard capstone, it's a pretty strong piece. White may be deciding, hey, if he comes down with that wall, I'm just going to go ahead and capture. Smash it with this capstone. Does make that, force that, smashes it with the capstone. No tack threat here, but it is in a pretty solid position. This is where you may see this capstone be thrown over to the side, or may decide to just go for that vertical threat already. I do like an F5 here. Instead goes for the E5. Don't know if I like that one so much, because, like I said, it does immediately get cut off, as opposed to F5, which could have been renewed on the very next turn, kind of no matter what white did there. Black goes for the smash. I would not be surprised to see maybe an E3 down, or even a D5 right. Goes for that, makes that tack threat for white. This is a great move here for black, moving this across. Solid flat count differential move, and just gives that capstone a lot of power. I'm surprised that white gave him that move, because black's now got a lot of power in terms of flat count differential. Yeah, I would say that black is pretty strongly in the lead in this game at the moment. And as long as black plays this well, there shouldn't be any issues in terms of who comes out on top at the end of this game. Black can likely force a flat win if he plays pretty aggressively with walls and pretty aggressively with road threats. Specifically, I believe black does have momentum at this point and can go for those pretty well, kind of force white's hand into making those moves that white wouldn't typically want to make here. White gonna move that capstone off to the side, kind of cut off black's access to those pieces on the bottom there. Black going ahead and building north, which is surprising because this does give white a really good positive flat count differential move and cuts that off with that capstone. A little surprising here. Not quite sure why black played there instead of one of the other options that he's got going on. Maybe up here to make this anchor point at the top. But, you know, maybe he's got something in mind that I don't see. Looks like he's going for this horizontal threat here at the moment. Black can make a threat by placing here at E4 or placing up here at F5 or at E6 or by capturing up onto D5. I kind of like the capture onto D5 move. The reason being is it kind of keeps this capstone a little farther away from it, from this stack, and makes that threat and makes a positive flat count differential move at the same time. So that would be a +2 move, gaining 1 flat and subtracting 1 flat from the enemy, +2 move. As you'll see in the flat count differential video, which I do talk about all of these things in that Tak University flat count differential video talking about positive flat count differential moves. Black instead brings that capstone over. Surprising play here, but that was a solid tack threat. White immediately cuts that off and makes their own tack threat, going for this horizontal here. This is going to force a capture from black. Black's going to have to either take up here at C3, which seems like the obvious choice, but potentially coming up here at E3 as well. Oh no, he misses the road. White's able to build here at A1 for that win. Just a oversight there from nitzel, playing in the wrong spot, not seeing that this was a dual prong threat and requiring a capture. So that is the end of that tiebreaker match. So nitzel loses to nqeron. nqeron wins here. there are still more tiebreaker matches because this was a 3-person tiebreaker for the 4th slot in the playoffs of this tournament. They're doing a round robin. So, Nitzel will now play gowellja, and nqeron will also play gowellja. And then after that, I believe that's everybody playing everybody? Yes, that is. So after this, gowellja will play both of these players, and whoever has the most wins at the end of this will go on to the 4th slot of the playoffs. So, well played, both players. Unfortunate end there for Nitzel, but, we all miss threats every once in a while. But congratulations to nqeron for bringing in that first win of this tiebreaker series. And thank you all for watching. Be sure to check out the description at the bottom of this video to see all the TAK resources that we have available to us, including the playtak.com website where you can play folks online. Also, the rules for the game so you can learn it. Check out the videos on my channel for how to play TAK. Check out the subreddit. Especially check out the TAK Discord server, which is the community hub. It's where everybody goes to talk about TAK, find players to play with, where we organize all these tournaments and everything. It's all on that TAK Discord. That is the place to be. If you're unfamiliar with Discord, Discord is a audio and text chatting web application and mobile application, and it's super easy to use, doesn't cost a thing, and you don't even have to download anything if you don't want to. Thanks for checking it out, thanks for watching, and until next time, have a great day and happy tacking.